Hello, everybody. Welcome back to One Nation of Gamers Summer Circuit. Chucky, how you doing?
Oh wow! Instantly throw to me. Yeah, I'm doing great, TJ. How about you?
Doing well, doing well. Looking forward to the next match here. It is going to be Pesty Cakes or Pesty versus LBYS. Now, I have a little bit of a personal vendetta going into this matchup.
Okay.
Pes- Pesty did beat me in the round of 8 yesterday, so I'm really rooting for him to beat LBYS. But LBYS has been on a tear. He qualified for one of the he I can't remember what he placed in the qualifier, but we just saw him like a week ago playing,
Yeah.
and he played really well. He's playing three very fast decks, three aggro decks. I believe it's
hmm
aggro paladin, face hunter, and mech.
It's tempo mage. Last time it was.
Okay, so yeah,
Maybe he changed. Actually, no. He had. I remember now. He won every time with his hunter and his paladin, and he had a Zudak, and it lost 6 times.
and so now
You
he's
remember?
now he's going for a mage.
He got
Yeah,
rid of Zoo and he
yeah.
brought mage. Okay, I like this. I'm
So
glad
yeah,
he adjusted.
he's the player that's quoting us saying, "You will never ever see me playing druid."
I like this guy.
Yeah, he smorks and he doesn't play
He
druid.
smorks and he doesn't afraid of anything.
All right, and Pesty on the other hand, he's playing Face Hunter, Patron Warrior, and Midrange Druid. So, um, pretty standard lineups for both, except LBYS throwing in a little bit faster decks. Not playing Patron, which is a little bit not standard.
hmm
So we'll have to see if that's going to work out for him. Pesty's lineup is pretty fast also, and Patron Warrior usually does decently against
Yeah,
fast decks, but it's going to be a tough one. Probably going to be a fast series either way.
yeah. I really like LBYS's lineup. It's something like you said. He doesn't play patron, and I think he's doing that because not because he's just a smork player and wants to go all face. It's a strategy, and it revolves around really preying on some of the weaker decks. It doesn't prey on patron, obviously. Patron
Mhm.
does very well against hunter and paladin, but if your opponent brings any of those crazy decks like dragon, shaman, while it might do okay against the field, one of their weaknesses is aggro, and when your lineup is entirely aggro, you're going to do very well at beating those types of decks.
Yeah,
Unfortunately for him, I don't think Pesty really has any weak links as far as weak to aggro. Druid's okay, Patron's great, and Hunter, is okay,
yeah.
depending on how it's built. The explosive trap version does very well in mirrors and against paladins, so hopefully for him, Pesty's not running that. You did call it Face Hunter, so we'll have to see kind of how that matches up. But I think it's an interesting strategy, and it's one we don't see enough. Uh, and that also adds to the strength of it. When it's not as expected, people are just like, damn those face stacks, I lost a game. But his entire lineup is face stacks.
Yep. And I mean, it worked out well for him yesterday. Both these players had beat some pretty notable players. Pesty beat Dog and Nostum, who is one of the leaders for GEICO points to go to PAX um, to qualify for PAX. So definitely good victories there, and of course me.
He beat TJ Azumo Cutie Sanders.
And then LBYS beat Green Sheep, your teammate. He beat Amnesia, the Druid player, really young guy. He's like a 14-year-old Druid player. He's always finishes in like the top 20 legend. And Wafster, who's also one of the players that competes in the summer circuit a lot, one of the leaders for GEICO points. So definitely some notable victories for both of these players. They definitely had good days yesterday with these lineups.
Yeah. So one of them will advance to the finals to meet up with Silent Storm, who just took a quick and convincing 3-0 win with some of his more interesting decks. See a Stranglethorn Tiger off the bat for LBYS. That came out of his deck, not a web spinner.
LBYS is jamming.
Yeah, he's ready to hit the face. You think he's listening to the Smork song? He's like, nope. Yep.
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think he's jamming face here. So the beatdown has begun, but I feel like, yeah, Pesty has some decent tools to deal with this. Of course, I think this is going to be the hardest matchup, hardest deck rather, for LBYS to really get through. I'm not sure how much he's really teched against Patron Warrior, but it's definitely going to be tough. However, Pesty can't really coin out that Despite, so that Misha's going to live.
Yep. And one of the things that threw me for a loop yesterday was Pesty plays Dr. Boom in Patron Warrior, which is a little bit interesting. It's a card that players were putting in at the beginning of the whole Patron era, but it sort of got phased out when people realized that just going all in on the cycle for your combos is usually better.
Yeah, this definitely wouldn't be the matchup for it. In fact, it's actually just weak to Unleash the Hounds and things like that. So definitely looking to get more of control deck speed up with that style. But yeah,
LBYS is like, whew, this is exhausting.
I mean the
I'm
Tiger.
sweating. Whew.
This is a really good matchup for the Tiger. It's actually even better than Lotheb here because it can't be targeted with that Despite.
Yeah. Ends up basically having the same effect, but like you said, that 5 damage is going to connect somewhere.
And already, if he wanted to, how much damage could LBYS do? He could silence off that taunt, and he could do 15 to Pesty, put him to 3.
Wow.
I don't think he'll do that. I think the silence probably, and I don't know. Maybe he would do that. The frothing is a little scary when your opponent has a Despite out, but we saw last match, even the last game, you can just go face against Patron a lot of the time, and while there's a lot of stuff to be afraid of, they don't have the mana to do all of it. If we look at Pesty's hand, he could execute, and that's about it to interact with the board.
Yeah. It looks like he's going to check with Animal Companion first.
Yeah, if you roll Leok, you probably don't even need the silence, really.
Yeah. You might be a little bit afraid of the... it depends on what trap he has also. They might dictate his decision. Yeah.
So he is still going to silence, going very aggressive. There is a whirlwind effect out there, so both the owl, the scientist, everything's going to die, but he still goes all face. Going to drop Pesty down to 6.
Oh, he realizes that he has 6 damage at least in his hand.
He does have 6 damage, yeah.
He's saying, I have 6 damage in my hand.
I think he is listening to the Smork song with the way that turn panned out, man. He didn't even trade a single time.
Yeah. Either the Smork song or Creed.
Well, Pesty goes down to 4, and that might just be it. There's no taunt or armor gain in his hand.
Yep.
So, unless he battle rages into something... Oh, he got the freezing trap down. But, well, the kill command's going to let him get through, but that's not enough mana. So
he draws a 2-mana beast.
He's still alive. There's a 3-mana beast, so now another clock has been set.
He's just dead. He could unleash Kill Command and Hero Power next turn for guaranteed 7 damage.
Yeah, he needs to get a shield block here, and that's not it. So that's it. LBYS gets there with the Unleash Kill Command.
Yes, he did.
Like you said, this might be a quick series, one way or the other. Pesty not able to stabilize. And that was one of the better matchups for Pesty.
My thanks. All right, well, the Smork has begun. LBYS takes game number 1, runs his hand through his hair. Smooth.
Very smooth. Just like that Hunter play. All face, all the time.
Indeed.
And yeah. Stranglethorn Tiger worked out really well for him there.
I really like that card. It was shown up in mid-range because guaranteed damage, also a guaranteed Houndmaster target. Mm-hmm. But in Face Hunter, like you said, it's sort of similar to Lotheb, where you're sort of blocking things so that you get guaranteed damage, but Stranglethorn Tiger can't be directly attacked by a Despite, so that damage is going to get in regardless, and it ends up being what he needed at the end of the day. Now he's got Mage and Paladin left up. We know this is an Aggro Paladin, but what kind of Mage is it? Looks like Mech Mage. Fel Reaver Mech Mage. Oh, baby.
Fel Reaver, boys. And Patron is one of those matchups where Fell Reaver, it can carry the game on its own. Execute is obviously a worry, but
Yeah.
if you can get it past Execute, they don't play Big Game Hunter. There is an Execute, so maybe if you can bait that out first.
Yeah.
One of the big concerns is if they get to pull off a huge turn where they play like 6 cards, discarding 18, and then execute it. Like that's the nightmare. But,
Yeah, he finds execute, but he seems unhappy with,
ooh.
oh, double execute. The rest of his hand is bad, so yeah, he's got a way to deal with the Fell Reaver, but what about everything else? Snow Trigger's going to come down here, and he's going to want to execute that because he doesn't want to be frozen for the rest of eternity.
Yeah, you can't be frozen going into your Deathbite turn. It sucks he can't play that frothing, but yeah. So there's the first execute. Now, LBYS probably not going to play around the second execute. So we might see Fell Reaver meet an unfortunate in this game.
Yeah, nah, and also the thing is about Patron, they can force you to discard a lot of cards with when you have a Fell Reaver on the board because they have a lot of low-cost stuff. They cycle through on their turns really easily, and he can just LBYS can hope that he finds a threat to where Fell Reaver's going to stick on the board.
Well, we might see Execute come out this next turn on like Spider Tank. Well, got a Starving Buzzard.
Oh, it's 2 mana.
I would have played it, man, for old time's sake.
Little guy.
You deserve it. But he decides not to play it. I mean, I feel like Death Spiting off your Annoyotron isn't that big of a deal. This is certainly going to make things a little more awkward for LBYS. He could go for Buzzard, even fit in that Clockwork Gnome if he wanted to. Of course, it would die to the Whirlwind, so he doesn't need to. He could run in the Spider Tank into the 2-4, ping it off. But then, of course, the Loot Hoarder remains, so a lot of awkward stuff.
Yeah, he's really going to think about this.
You don't really just want to play a 5-drop because then Loot Hoarder kills your Noyotron. The Frothing gets huge. Frothing's going to get huge. And, uh-oh.
Yeah, this is going to spell bad news because he can Acolyte.
He can discard 9, clear the board, draw 4. Oh, jeez. Yep, this is where it might all come crashing down. And one of the small downsides in Conquest to Fell Reaver is your opponent gets to see so much of your deck.
Yeah.
So
but LBYS looks like he just doesn't care.
He's living on the dream of no second execute.
Now he cares a little bit.
I think he's about to care a lot, yeah. Okay, he cares, yeah.
Yeah. He does have Archmage, so that's one thing that he can be happy about.
He has no answer to that 10-2.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to trade, and a Dr. Boom's going to come down. But you're not happy with that either.
I feel so bad to trade, though.
Nah, it's fine. Like, ooh, there's the... In a parallel universe, Archmage Cloakfield might have been enough to carry this game, but in this universe, it looks like LBYS wants to ping his face. Well, you can kill off Dr. Boom. I mean, it's... And then stealth up an Antonitis the next turn. Not all is lost. I'm not sure why he wouldn't go for that.
I think he's gonna ping a Boom bot. Maybe he thinks he needs that fireball to go to face. He'll have infinite fireballs. Well, not infinite, but
yeah,
a relatively large stream of fireballs.
Yep. He will have at least 3. Or at least 2, I should say. Not 3.
But he'll probably just be dead by the time he gets a chance to use those.
Yeah.
This is a very heavy-handed Patron deck from Pesty with both Grom and Dr. Boom.
Yeah. I suppose he probably cut some Cycle. Definitely doesn't have those Gnomishes in there. Might not even have Shield Block. He does have Loot Hoarders, though.
guess this is a defensive play.
Yeah, I mean, he's at 21, so he's doing pretty okay for himself.
Here we go. The play of dreams.
Is it enough, though?
No. Okay, so the maximum damage he can do next turn is 17. And
Yeah.
he's
No.
he's dead over 2 turns. So actually, he can use next turn to clear the board, I suppose.
So
Or
that
try.
means if LBYS, rather than playing out the Mech Warper in the Starving Buzzard, if he just launched a fireball at face, he would have won this game.
Wow.
He would have had one more fireball, which is exactly 23.
Yeah, you can't really. If he had one whirlwind effect, though, he would have negated.
Yeah,
that.
of course.
Yeah.
But there isn't one. It just so happens.
So I don't think that it was correct, but we know that it was correct.
Right. Just something you can kind of look back and think about and be like, man, I had a winning line this game. That doesn't mean it's what you should have done. It's just something more to consider.
Yeah. So he's going to go ahead and just clear the board here, try and go face, maybe set up for some lead.
He's dead on board now.
Yeah.
So.
A little bit rough, and maybe LBYS will find himself in the same spot where that third deck syndrome.
Oh, gosh. That would feel bad. I mean, Mech Mage is a deck that most people don't consider it like a top deck. It goes along with his strategy, which is, I think, the main reason he includes it. The decks that Hunter's going to beat and Paladin's going to beat, Mech Mage is probably decent against as well. And there is merit to kind of synchronizing your lineup to all pick on one deck. And Patron Warrior is not that deck for LBYS. So while it's a win and a tied series, I would say this is about what LBYS could expect against Patron.
So LBYS's total win-loss in the open bracket yesterday, he only lost 2 games the entire time.
He was smorking hard, man.
Yeah. He 3-0'd 3 opponents and 3-1 the other 2, I believe. Yes, that is correct.
Well,
yeah.
There's Innervate, Keeper, and a Swipe.
Yep.
All very good cards against Aggro Paladin.
Total game score of 15-2.
Solid.
Yeah. And okay. Pesty does have some good anti-aggro tools early on. Will it be enough?
LBYS kind of rolls his eyes, but I mean, it's a lot less crippling as a Paladin for them to have the Innervate than it is as like Hunter. You have a lot more stuff to fight back on board. We even see his hand is full of them. This isn't like, you don't want all of them, but he's got both True Silvers, both Consecrations, so.
I think that's a bad hand.
It's a bad hand, yeah. He's going to need more stuff to play. It's also very awkward because it makes his Divine Favor draws super bad, and they're already bad enough against Druid due to Innervate.
He's going to be... that was a mistake. Not having a play on turn 3 is a mistake.
You could argue it is, TJ. Oh, well.
Could also argue that only having a Lepronome to play on turn 4 is a mistake.
I was about to say that. That's a mistake, too. Where was your Piloted Shredder? Where was your Piloted Shredder?
Well, Lilteb's going to stop at least some of the bleeding here. I think that Pesty's in a pretty dominant position.
You never know with Aggro Paladin, man. Never count him out.
But sometimes you do kind of know.
Oh, come on. Let me have this.
Fine. You never know.
Well, the Owl's going to come down. He could push 8 next turn if he wanted to. With the True Silver. Or with the Blessing Kings. That's a lot of damage, TJ.
It is.
He's pushing a lot of damage.
It is. just proving that point that I made. You just never know against paladins.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that point.
And it looks
So
like that is going to be the line of play. So
it's not gonna silence though. It looked like I would silence. Maybe kill off that 5-2.
sure, I think he's going to silence.
He was about to trade into that Belcher, and then he was like, wait. Or I could face. Or I could face twice. Goes back to some head nodding. He's like, yeah. 8 damage. And I mean, it is. If Pesty wants to clear it, he has to not taunt. He has to swipe.
Yeah.
Or Force of Nature or Savage Roar, but I'm just thinking swipe or Force of Nature. Probably swipe is the best one. You kill off the 2/2 with your 3/5, you swipe the 6/7, and you have to trade in your Lotheb. And then all you have to do is Hero Power. That gives LBYS another free turn of hitting you in the face. He does have a taunt and the Ancient Lore Heal to stabilize, so he's got the tools he needs.
Yeah.
He's going to go Force of Nature instead.
Has
This gets him through about the same. I mean, it's roughly the same. It's just he gives up Force of Nature instead of Swipe, and he doesn't fit in the Hero Power. I think I would have liked the Swipe a little bit better.
has LBYS even hit a minion with anything?
He hit the Keeper with his face,
Okay.
if you recall.
Yeah, I do recall. He got confused which face he was supposed to deal damage to. Actually, it didn't even end up dealing damage because he healed the 2 health that it would have done. All right. So he's very close.
Yep, he's 2 off.
He has the damage. He just doesn't quite have the mana to do the damage.
Now he's 1 off. If that knife is perfect. If the knife is true.
Or he can just double consecrate this turn.
Nah. Oh, he's actually going to save both. Going for the knives. Misses both. He would have loved those to go face. As is his general game plan.
Yep.
Maybe trying to bait Pesty into taunting up instead of healing. But I'm pretty sure Pesty's going to heal and Hero Power off that 1/1. So LBYS still going to need to find some more stuff, but he's got some time to do it.
Yes, he's seen a Force of Nature. There are not that many taunts left in Pesty's deck. He doesn't have any taunts in hand. He doesn't have any more heals in hand.
Ooh.
Blessing of Kings. Oh, no.
If he had an Arcane Golem.
I think he just needs to double consecrate right now.
He can double consecrate right now. He could do 1. Yeah, I think he'll do both.
Yeah, I don't think there's a reason to do 1.
So, Pesty's out of taunts. He's out of heals. There's still some in his deck. That's not one of them. Probably going to cycle off Azure Drake. He could go with an aggressive line and just play Dr. Moon, trying to set up for lethal. That's probably actually better the more I look at it.
If he Dr. Booms and... Ooh. Ooh. Well, he can cycle again.
Yep. But what can you draw at 3 mana that...
He says, well played. Oh, no. He expects himself to be dead. So there's...
Leroy would get him.
Or anything would charge.
Well, he's thinking, okay, I'm at 6. Leroy is 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Blessing of Kings, a charge would get him as well. But the only charge that's not Leroy's Arcane Golem. Can he draw Arcane Golem? No. So is this lethal? It looks like it is. That's 5, 4, another 4. So 13 plus 8 plus 1 is 22. So it's not lethal? Is he 1 off? Oh, Ancient War will do it, though. But still, I think I would have liked Dr. Boom last turn to set up that guaranteed lethal with Savage Roar Swipe.
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine he didn't top deck a taunt. I mean, he has Druid of the Claw, if anything, if he didn't draw War, but he would be slightly off. And that would give LBYS 1 more turn to draw into some shenanigans and beat him. course, Pesty's just going to kind of count, double-check everything. Don't think he has lethal, if I counted correctly. Swipe is worth 5, Druid of the Claw is worth 6, so Druid of the Claw would be higher damage. There's Force of Nature, but now he doesn't have the mana. So he's going to Taunt up and Hero Power, just in case.
He's seen both owls, so I don't know what the just in case is for.
I guess equality, but then like your opponent needs at least 3 cards to beat you. 2 wouldn't do it.
There's the muster, and I think he just has to Blessing a King. Nah, he's just dead.
Yep, so
He realizes it.
Pesty's going to pick up that second game win. Now it's all down to his Hunter against the Paladin and Mage of LBYS.
Well, those are 2 tough decks for Hunters to beat. Paladin, I think, usually, from my experience, it does pretty well against Hunter. And
Yeah.
the Mage has some tools to fight back early on. And Noyatron and Snowchugger are hard for Hunters to deal with in the early game. And if you smack face a couple times with the Fell Reaver, you're going to win a race.
Yeah, I think it really depends on how Pesty's Hunter is built. Traps like Freezing Trap are a lot better against Mech Mage. They're generally a little worse against Aggro Paladin, but if you can set up pretty well to make it hit something like a Shielded Minibot, it can be nice. Like you said, it's very face-oriented, but even without talking about traps, it's a pretty good hand he has there with just the Haunted Creeper. Challenges a lot of the 2/1s. He's going to keep it all, which I don't blame him at all for. Glaive Zuka, Knife Juggler, just all help control the board early.
Yep. And I believe he ran face with High Mains and Freezing Traps.
Well, I would say that's one of the better builds you could have for these 2 matchups. I think Freezing Trap is going to be pretty key, especially against the Mage deck.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get out the Glaive Zuka here.
Yep.
I mean,
Pesty's just going to be on damage control here.
he's realizing whether or not he wants to throw the Knife Juggler in, but I think playing the Shielded Minibot's a little bit better because he protects the Knife Juggler by not throwing it into a Glaive Zuka hit.
Yeah. Sometimes you go big or you go home, though, TJ. He didn't, though.
No.
Well, alright. Pretty decent knife for him there. He had a 2/3 chance of a nice knife.
Justice. Oh, man. The emotes. The emotes are alive.
LBYS is still pushing a lot of damage, though, and it looks like he's going to have a target for that Blessing of Might.
Yes, he will. And he won't have the guarantee.
This is going to be a pretty big knife juggle. At worst, Pesty can unleash next turn, but Pesty's really going to want to play Lotheb. Ooh. And now he can't. He's going to have to unleash.
And unleash, he has to leave the 1/1 on the board.
Yep.
Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, he can clear everything now.
So he has initiative, and he's got a couple strong cards in his hand, whereas LBYS just has Owl. He might be at the point of stabilization.
Paladin does not have any inevitability like Hunter. There's no hero power that you can just keep tapping to deal 2. True Silver is one of those huge swing cards, though. It does 8 and it heals for 4. So in a race-oriented matchup, it's going to put you very far ahead. And so now it's very much just kind of like Pesty's going to have to sit back and be like, well, hope he doesn't draw into damage.
Yeah. He does have Freezing Trap. Wow,
Yeah.
really respects the possibility of Blessing of Kings also.
Yeah, Blessing of Kings would be another 4 damage, so just too much, I think, for Pesty to not respect.
So LBYS actually can clear the High Main and leave an Owl on the board. Nah.
Nah, no way.
Let's just go face. How about it?
Yep.
What do you guys
hit that
think?
face?
Let's just hit the face.
Let's do it. Oh no! No! LBYS, why?
Well, he does have initiative now.
Yeah, initiative with an owl.
It's
I don't.
still
I don't
initiative.
know. I don't know, TJ.
He can out get the owl back.
I don't know.
Ooh, the old 8-mana Divine Favor. And now he can't even
Now
use
he
it!
can't play it. Yeah. That didn't quite hit the mark.
Divine Favor is weak against Hunter, as we can see.
Oh, God.
This is a lot of damage. The race is on. Just kidding. And now he'll have no cards in his hand.
Yeah, you play Wolf Rider over here powering. Normally you don't, but against Paladin you do.
That's crazy. So he's on a 2-turn clock now. Possibly even a 1-turn clock. And he concedes! What Blessing of Might? Yeah, there was no way he could win. Even with Leroy plus Blessing of Might, there was
after seeing the draw, I guess he saw the draw.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a spectator delay, but like Leroy plus a 4 damage spell could have done it.
So Pesty takes the win 3-1 over LBYS. So he's going to move on to the finals to face Silent Storm, and LBYS is going to move down to the 3rd place match to face off against Hot Form. Pesty has avenged me. Thank you.
Well, a little sad to see the aggro paladin go down.
I'm sure you are.
And he went down trading. Listen, TJ, if you're going to go down, at least go down in dignity. Hit that face.
It's funny, we talk about the point of stabilization for the face hunter. He managed to stabilize the match, control the board
the guy with Wolf Rider was playing for board, yeah.
Really interesting stuff. But keep in mind, guys, another reminder, the final qualifiers for the summer circuit are tomorrow for both NA and EU. If you want to have your last chance of participating in the summer circuit and having your chance to compete at PAX, head over to liquidheart.com tomorrow, and on the right side of the screen under upcoming events, ONOG NA and EU qualifier number 8 and final. So you can check that out during the break, but we are going to go to a quick 2-minute break, I believe, before we jump into the 3rd place match between Hot Form and LBYS. Don't go anywhere, guys. More summer circuit action right after this.